believing, the art that you have, like, you should know what you're putting out to the market or what you're giving to your audience, and I just want to give them me. So that's something 2021 is going to be filled with for sure.
Do you say after listening to your first album, we leave with a pretty good understanding of who you are, that angle?
I would say that but so first question, I guess it would be who am I? Um, so hello, my name is Julio Pablo Rivera. Um, I am an artist born and raised in Hartford, Connecticut. The background of my family is 100% Puerto Rican. My mother and father came here both when they were young. You know, this city right here of Hartford, A60, is a place I hold very close to me. It's where a lot of my childhood was developed and grown, and what I try to reconnect to when I create. What do I create? When I tap into Pablo, I guess something that I try to bring out of these thoughts that I have and bring them to, reality is just, I don't know, freedom of expression, freedom of love, freedom of pain. I think all different types of emotions are given through art, and as an artist, you got to find a way to express all these things that are real, and not neglect necessarily, the aspects of like what we experience on a day-to-day basis. Let me see. What's another dope question to figure it out?
You need your phone or anything?
My phone?
Yeah. Because you're obviously gonna chop it up, so.
Yeah.
If you want me to put your phone so you can see your questions. I moved so you can get more comfortable, so it's not like I'm watching you.
No, you're dope. If anything, do you think of any like dope questions? Like if you could ask Don Toliver something, or Kanye, someone that's. I wouldn't even mind if your voice is in it too. Like
word. I wasn't sure I was on you again.
Yeah.
So what is your main goal while listening? Like, I'm a listener. What is your goal for me to get at the end of the journey that you're pitching?
One thing I guess I would first want the listener to know is that, let me say that. From a listener's perspective, one thing that I always appreciated from artists were the authenticity of their words and their art that I thought they were creating and that they did create. When you listen to Pablo, it's something that was, 90 to 100% created by Pablo, from the thought to the sound to the words. Not to say that people haven't influenced me, but I'm the artist at the end of the day that's conveying that message. It's not necessarily tampered or influenced or I guess changed by other people, but yeah, I feel like the amount of collaboration within my art right now is is solely produced by me. So that's one thing that I think I would want the listener to take, is that you're getting 100% Pablo as of right now, and hopefully collaboration can soon come in, but right now it's just been me.
So it's like the listen is as you are taking your journey through what you've gathered, we're with you with that as you even explore like putting it together. So we kind of get to hear like it all being made in a sense, like as we're there.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, development is crazy. Like I listen to things I made, when I was sophomore year, junior year in high school, 2018, and hearing all the beats that weren't developed or had a lot of potential in my head, but not necessarily not really made at that time yet. Seeing through what was in front of me is something that I think helped a lot, because now in the year 2020 and why I decided to make this year a year that I actually drop something, is because I always thought, give myself 2 years to really explore my inner thoughts, my inner creativity, that when it does come to reality, it'd be a refined stage, a refined form of, thoughts I had when I was 18, 17, and probably even younger, you know what I mean? So, and I'm just 21 trying to, articulate these things now. I'm pretty sure when I become 22, 23, 24, I'll understand a lot of the software and tools I use to, bring my ideas to life.
That's dope.
Mm-hmm. Um,
That looks crazy. If you want to look at that real quick.
Oh wow.
It's a cool sign. That's what Twitter looks like on the internet. Just hella messages.
Word, right? Just tweets at us. Yeah, no, I guess like one dope part of the interview would be to show them the city. Because people that haven't seen the actual part, like, this is necessarily Hartford, the downtown, like, even if they just catch the audio of this, like, this is where I'm from, where so many people that I gone raised around and looked up to. This is the central place where sadly a lot of people didn't have a lot of the access or experiences that I've had in downtown. I used to work in Travelers, which is an insurance company. I had a scholarship program, which allowed me to get into UConn, which is the University of Connecticut, for those that don't know, which was a whole interesting experience. But downtown, my first internship when I was 17, 18, I used to play a lot of music, waiting for my bus to get home from downtown after my internship or wherever it was. And the dreams and the thoughts were all, I guess, cooked up while waiting for the ride. And I think that's what downtown really represents, just all those thoughts, so much traffic, so much life. You know what I mean? Everybody's on the move in downtown.
Right.
There's nothing stagnant. I think, trying to make it out of Hartford, where I guess I didn't have a lot of points of reference as far as people that have made it out the way that I want to. I want to be a person to put that on the map and make sure that people understand that. Pablo was also in Hartford downtown, catching the bus, and hopefully make it to some destination at some point.
So what is your favorite part about the process? Because this is something that you say now will be something that you have to look back to remember. Because I feel like everybody, once they're working hard and you lose a little bit of why did I start this? So this would be a good note on what is your favorite part about the process that really is all right, it's late, but I'm gonna keep going because what is that thought? What is that thought and what is that supplied by?
I think my favorite part of my process, especially with right now creating music, is the sample searching. I really love discovering new music, and sampling as an art, there's no boundaries when it comes to sound, when it comes to music, especially, from different locations, different genres, different languages. I think that's my favorite part, because sampling, you learn how to manipulate that and try to express, a message that you try to convey or that you connected with the art. So I always said that my samples speak for themselves, and it's quite literally there's a lot of knowledge, energy. Like I said, love, pain through these songs that I think nowadays we get glimpses of, but sampling kind of brings that back, and that's my favorite part of my process right now. Outside of that, I just started recording about 2 months ago, and I think my favorite process with that is hearing my voice. I'm a pretty quiet person, outside of like me creating, like it's a very lonely process. Um, that was actually my producer named Lonely, because I never needed someone to be around in order for those ideas to spark. It was always me in the basement, in the room, and just my thoughts. So hearing those thoughts come out now through my voice and learning how to use that as an instrument is definitely my favorite process, or favorite part of the process outside of beat making, but just being an artist.
Word.
Yeah.
So I find that, like, personally, I think like there's some albums that you play and you actually listen to. There's some albums that you have like in the back when you're doing something to get things done, because it pushes you in that perspective. Some albums you listen to and it's like, all right, it's time to work out. It's really time to. What scenario would you not suggest, but like if you could paint like, all right, this is the setting to listen to this. What is that for you for your project? Another example, like when I go to Las Vegas, I feel like Action Bronson should just be playing the whole time, because like it makes sense. It's like I feel like he just like stared at for some of his work, you know, like something like that. Like it just that tempo of his style of music fits for that. Like you getting to pick yours, where do you think it goes?
I think, interesting enough, I love listening to music personally when I'm, you know, on a ride to somewhere. It doesn't have to necessarily be a destination. So if you could somehow be on the move, you know, in the car, whether it's taking the bus, you know, just looking at scenery change while, you know, my music goes on, because a lot of the development, whether it's a repeating sample loop or, you know, a sample that keeps changing and altering, like that's one thing that or one aspect of while listening to my music that I think can be expressed, or like you can feel, you know what I mean?
It's like a journey. That's dope.
Yeah. Outside of that though, I definitely listen to a lot of my music to myself, lonely. So if you could somehow also listen for yourself, it's a huge thing. I feel like a lot of people listen just to wait for other people's reaction, or, you know, just to have a point of like a conversation. Like, you know, when you listen to my music, I'm trying to at least talk to my listener, talk to you, you know, whoever's, you know, listening. So yeah, like just take those words for yourself, whatever I'm saying and how it resonates to you, before you listen to someone else's perspective. You know, create your own meaning.
All right, this is a quicker question. Are there sounds of CT to listen for? I'm not sure what a unique sound of CT would sound like, but, well, at least your perspective, as far as just like setting that tone as far where you're recording, we get to, because you said lonely, so like I feel like lonely definitely has a sound, and it's different for everybody where you're at. Yeah. So it's like you being alone, I feel like it could be like a little Easter egg or something that you have. It's like, this is what it sounded like real quick.
I feel like one thing that I guess, you know, connecting to CT, the lonely aspect of it, everyone's trying to make it out by themselves, you know what I mean? A lot of people do feel alone in a way, and I feel like a lot of collaboration and a lot of things can be solved if we did come together. So although I do create a lot of music by myself, which definitely creates a sound, because that's all we had at the end of the day, were ourselves, you know, my resources.
So you're making the sound, so that's fire.
Yeah, because I want people to understand that, you know, I want to come back to the city and have these creative, like, I don't know, safe havens where people could come and like express their art, because, you know, that's sometimes all people got, and that's enough. You know what I mean? That's, I don't know. But yeah, no, it's not that it's sad that it was lonely, but that's what it had to be. But I don't think it has to be that way.
So would you describe lonely in a negative light, or how would you, as far as categorize the word? I know it could probably be used for both, but yeah, if you had to set the tone for the word lonely, what do you think it is?
When I think of lonely, I picture myself. I think lonely ties into I don't want to say necessarily a condition, but I guess a phase that I entered at a certain point in my life that heavily influenced me. I think lonely, like you said, means various different things for people. You know, you could feel in a room and still be lonely. I was in a room actually alone, and I think that's a huge difference just because of family situations. But within that time alone, um, I got to listen to the voice inside my head, and although I was lonely, I never was alone. So just reminding myself that being lonely with your thoughts is sometimes the greatest company you need, because it helped me find myself, and I think a lot of people don't spend enough time being alone to understand what lonely is.
Absolutely. I mean, even with everything that's going on this year, I feel like there's a healthy point in time where you should be alone. I feel like there's an amount of time that's healthy, like to be alone, And everybody's differs based on their situation, but I feel like a lot of people, especially like in our age, which is silly because they're so young, it's like be stressed about being alone forever, and it's just like, why? It's like you literally don't have to be like that, but it could be an inner problem that they're not dealing with, so they put that on themselves with also being alone and putting what they're going through and being alone tied into one. It's like, I'm alone because of this, that, and the other. Like, you can't do that in your alone time. You could be figuring those things out, and I think it's really mental. So that's cool that you had a alone experience, but you did something with it. Like you could have just been alone and been like, yeah, I want to make music one day, but I'm alone right now.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, I'm gonna do it. So like, this is like good. This is the project where we get to see what you did when you were alone.
Yeah,
So
no, literally. And I guess lonely. Spending years just sitting on music by yourself, understanding, you're the only one that knows. It's kind of the craziest thoughts or like realizations I had, and understanding that, I'm gonna have to let my music out one day, which is, the year 2020. Introducing Pablo to the world at this stage, at the age of 21, is definitely like opposite of what the person I've kind of developed. At the same time, there's room for growth, and I'm ready to take that journey with people. I'm one of the loneliest persons I know, so I feel like opening that up to the world, more people might be able to connect to that. And you'd be surprised, a lot of the loudest people in the room, behind closed doors, have the craziest time being by themselves, and they can't handle it, or vice versa. I think there's room for everybody.
Do you think that was your biggest challenge during this project, was just overcoming the fact that you're alone, or the task and the project themselves? Like, what do you think was the harder of the two?
As far as completing the work, that's always a hard task, because I'm still learning how to develop the skill, the craft, the quality. As far as being alone doing it, that's how I would prefer it. Just because, like I said, they're inner thoughts that are now being released to the public, and that's a crazy concept for me. Trying to be such a private person, or kind of in control, kind of releasing that and allowing other people to feel that. So,
do you think your creating process, when it's time, I think it's gonna come a time where you're gonna have somebody in that room. How do you think that's gonna be a new hurdle, and maybe even like a newer sound, because now someone's with you? It's like, do you ever, I don't know, did that hold you back at any point in time? Like, were you ever like something that you battled with, like, damn, do I do this alone, or do I try to find someone to help me record this? Or and if that was the thought, was there any other thing fighting that as well? I know questions like all over the place, but I feel like you get
it's at the end of the day, trusting someone with the opportunity of being a part of the art, in a way, like I trust you with shooting my interview, like
Word.
I think that's what it comes down to, is trusting people that can execute the vision. There's something in my mind that I want to spread out to the world, and you got to be very selective with the people that are going to influence that message. So as long as I could trust that person to know the direction and what I'm trying to convey, I think that's just been the biggest part. I haven't trusted anybody to really take hold of my sound, take hold of my voice, take hold of, you know, the things that I'm still trying to discover for myself first. But yeah, no, if that day does come where I do find someone or get to collab with a lot of the, you know, people today I look up to, that'll be a great, I don't know, like a great opportunity, a great, I guess a great moment to have. But I also appreciate knowing that, you know, so much content that I have yet to release, you know, that I've just been sitting on has been created by someone that was in their basement. Just holding that thought down and giving inspiration to other artists that are now, you know, I don't know, not even thought about or not even being considered artists yet. Like, it's all interesting. It's all motivating.
That's dope.
Do you want to say if we could change the, like,
we change that this half and like,
yeah.
do you want to keep looking in this direction?
That's
like,
what I'm saying. Like, probably have it off to where
Yeah.
it's like shooting. I don't know. Cause I wasn't even looking half of the time, so it's
yeah.
like,
So we could cut this half.
it's definitely hopefully a lot of good vote, like audio. Is there anything you could just throw that in some software?
I mean, the Christmas tree in the back is 2020 and show, and you're gonna drop on New Year's, so that's dope. It's like, wait, he just did this. He's talking about 2020 as a Christmas tree, and you can see the blue dome right now too. Scoot a little bit this way. I'll move this so you can't really. Let's see this. So you can see like the whole. Straight.
Yeah.
I thought that was PS4 controllers, but I cry. I'm out of game better. No, that's too much. So we can see what you moved. It's like right here. Yeah, I can see the blue dome.
I just keep looking here. How does that look? Or should I look somewhere here? Over here.
I mean, we're asking random questions, so you can always cut both so it looks like you were talking this way. Because if you just show that straight and then just this, that might look weird.
No, yeah, it's gotta
So
be all
right, so you're gonna have to go bang, bang.
Oh, word, and then the audio's running over it, whatever the fuck.
Right, you just cut that and then you just.
Alright, word.
Word.
That.
All right, so yeah, just look. Let me see. Look right there. Yeah, that's fine.
Word.
I can even get dramatic and be like closer up.
I feel like here I just need to keep a straight ass fucking.
All right, word. Did you have any questions on your anything you wanted me to ask? Damn, Pablo, I would have been ready for some questions.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
I was like, oh, bet I'm asking questions.
Is it notes? Is it? No, is it never not?
Oh, I mean, I can ask why the theme, why the black and white theme? All right, word. So, why the black and white theme? Kind of don't like the question anymore. Because that sounds like we're asking some stupid shit.
No.
Alright, hold on, let me reword it. Because that sounds like I'm asking a racist question. So I hate 2020. Hold on.
Yeah.
What do you call that? What do you call that edit? Okay, so I'll ask about this word.
Go ahead.
So how you're pushing your album, what made you decide on the color palette that you have in your Instagram right now, like the shades of gray?
I think the shades of gray really just capture, I don't know, black and white to me really keeps things clear. You know, they're so opposite that there's really no place in the middle. Besides the grays, obviously, but I feel like with a lot of the things that I've caught, you just see me in the photo and that's the black and white of it. You know, I try to convey that it's, you know, it's just Pablo. It's Pablo taking the photos and now, you know, implementing you to the, I just looked at the.
Yeah. It's all good.
Yeah, no, but
But I could show a beat, I could B-roll it over that part, like.
Yeah.
You gotta keep going the whole time though.
Yeah, you're right.
Damn,
I can't cut that.
No, that's all good. We both.
Alright, so So,
You killed it too.
yeah, I know.
That answer.
Let's go again, right? 3. Do you want to just cut this whole film? Like,
You know, we're
delete
gonna
this
chop
whole
it
film?
all up. It's easy if we run it and then we just pick and find
But-
the stronger moment.
So, the reason why I have black and white for a lot of the images and even the videos that I choose to put out, basically represents I guess, the clarity, the no in between that you get from black and white, besides the grays. I feel like seeing that it's just Pablo behind his desk working on a laptop or, recording, whatever it is that's being captured in the process, it's just me, and that's the black and white of it. I feel like colors also hold meanings, and once I start to slowly but surely start to introduce color into my art, it'll have a meaning behind it rather than just being so monotone right now.
I feel like watching or looking at the pictures with the black and white, I also have a feeling, for me anyway, looking at it, it looks like you're trying to create space. Like, as far as just showing how open the area is and there's no one else there. So like for me, it was just more of you seeing what I'm around in my setting. Like it's just me. It was like I'm just in my setting. So I that's what I was getting from it. So that's cool. And the fact that this is what you're presenting yourself with.
Yeah,
your first project.
The perspectives are, especially for a lot of those photos for 2020. They were all, directed in a way to feel like you're a fly on the wall. I wanted to give people an experience of, oh, this is how it feels to be Pablo alone in a room. So yeah, there is an empty bedroom to the left. There is an empty desk to the right. There is, so much space in between because, that's how much space I needed, I guess, to feel comfortable to not be influenced or felt like I was being watched. So yeah, it's interesting that you do bring up space because, that's all I've had. And I guess that brings you closer to yourself, spacing yourself away from other, energies and other influences. Let me see. What would I want to?
Pause and take another shot real quick.
Mm-hmm.